Hey everybody, it's Lana and I'm home this weekend. I wanted to feature the Historical Society. Traci Crewse Bohannon, she could not be here today. She went away for holiday weekend and I can't say that I blame her. I would too. But I'm going to be putting up some information for them and filling in some things that they do and they don't do here at the Historical Society. The one thing I found, the older that I get, the more I want to get in touch with my roots. I think most people do that. There's some things that they do for free, and then there's some things that they will assist you with, but is not necessarily free. So I'll be following up with some more information, and I hope you all are having a great Memorial Day weekend. See you later. All right, everybody. I'm going to read you the questions that I asked, or the answers that I asked Traci. I don't know how big of a video Facebook is going to let me upload without giving me issues, so I apologize if it's speed reading. I'm going to include some pictures on that too, so bear with me. Probably going to stumble all over myself, but before I ever get started, I want to say thank you, Traci, for doing this, and a shout out to Tony Robertson. Probably going to hook up with you next because the stuff that you do with Hills of Home and all of that stuff is really awesome. But this is for the Wright County Historical Society today, so we're going to go on that. I asked Traci some questions, and her answers is, I've had a love of history, genealogy. See, there we go. As far back as I can remember. In 2013, I started a Facebook page called the Tree Shakers Genealogical Research. It was intended to help those wishing to research their families, but quickly turned into a page I used to share interesting local history and old photos. At this time, I was also volunteering a little under Lois Bowman, who was the administrator of the Wright County Historical Society. As I was related and personally knew Billy Cruz Mitchum, who was the president of the board in late summer 2017, I was asked by Leo Dowden and Billy Mitchum to take over for Wanda Cope, who at the time the administrator was very ill. The collections that they have for the Historical Society are not digitalized. The board made the decision not to do that on three things. Basically, money, it costs to do that, and those that have done that have made themselves obsolete so that they don't need it. And they end up having to close their doors. Plus, they don't have enough volunteers to be able to do all that. They do have full newspaper rooms and actual newspapers, some dating back to the 1880s and up to the 1950s. They cover the towns of Mountain Grove, Hartville, Norwood. They also have newspapers on microfilm and a microfilm reader. Newspapers on microfilm that they own cover the same areas and time frames in the same towns, along with Mansfield. There is never a charge to use the research library and to take our classes and attend our events. They do have a class coming up. It's in June, and I will make sure and post it on here from 6 to 8. I believe it's one of their Fridays, but don't let me quote that down. Let me find it and post it first. So they do have a class that's coming up. Some of the best resources that you will not find anywhere else is our land records for Wright County. Go back to 1841 when Wright County was formed from Pulaski, which I'm sure a lot of you know Pulaski County is the St. Robert, Waynesville area. We also have rural school records, which can tell you if Grandpa was a good student or if he played hooky a lot. I don't think I want to go look up mine, just saying. Our newspaper room has newspapers that are not on any website. Research library contains not such records for Wright County, but also for neighboring counties. The Bob Allen Civil War collection, which is extensive and was named our parent county collection. These research materials are hard to find resources from the state our ancestors came to Wright County from: Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina, Virginia, many others. Many of these are from the late 1700s to the mid 1850s, since Wright County really seemed to boom in 1850. We also have Verl Rose Cemetery books, which cover almost every Wright County cemetery. These are particular interest because Verl read these cemeteries back in the 1970s and the 1980s when most of the stones were still readable. I know I go over to my mom's grave and it's almost unreadable, and she died in 1980, so I can imagine all that old stuff. So I sent her a story because I'd always heard that Hartville was founded by moonshiners. Now, I'd heard it was out around Clark's Creek, but I was so wrong, and she corrected me. Hartville was not founded by moonshiners, LOL. It was founded in the late 1830s when a trading post was built next to the Old Town Spring. The Clark's Creek Gang roamed the area in the late 1890s, making life miserable for honest citizens until they were taken down. And the moonshiners were thick during the days of Prohibition in 1920s. That is an interesting tale for her, given that the sheriff at the time was her grandfather's cousin, Morgan J. Crewse, Morgan's nephew, Delbert Crewse, which is the former mayor of Mountain Grove, told me that a family reunion that his uncle Morgan showed him the car he drove during those days. The entire side was riddled with bullet holes. Wright County was a wild place back then. I remember Wright County being a wild place, period. And maybe not so much today, but I remember it being pretty wild. Wright County has so much amazing history that a lot of it makes you go, wow. I love that just after the Civil War, when the black families came through heading north, they were so welcomed, they decided to stay there instead. She's intrigued by the Slickers, a group of vigilantes in the 1840s that came across the early country lawmakers for their deceitful practices. After reading about the little town of Astoria is like reading an Old West saga. I think the simple things that are also fascinating is that our ancestors left everything to come here, build a life and home out of basically nothing. My great grandparents, who left a profitable life in eastern Tennessee in the 1850s with a group of 13 wagons and 5 small children, arrived with nothing but what they brought. From what they acquired, massive amounts of land, built a 2-story brick home by hand, a grist mill on the Beaver Creek, and the second school to be built in Wright County. They fought bushwhackers, thieves, disease. Their son, Tracy's great-grandfather, built the church that she attended as a child. Today, their descendants are still here, still making a life for their children, and that is a story many of the old pioneers' families can still tell. The annual fundraiser is their calendar sale that takes place October through December. I've gotten this. I missed it last year, but I've gotten it in the past. I know since we don't live there anymore, it's a huge thing that my dad absolutely loves getting, so I've got to get on board to get that again this year. Last year, their theme was Rural Wright County. This year, their theme is the Streets of Wright County. They're also having an event July 24th, which will be a walking, driving tour of the Battle of Hartville. With Hartville alumni, Tony Robinson will be narrating it. There is no charge for this event, but will always be open to donations. They also sell research books, historical books pertaining to Wright County. These are for sale year-round. Since Wright County Historical Society is a nonprofit, all proceeds go back to the upkeep and maintenance of the facility. No one gets a paycheck. They're all volunteers. Since COVID, a lot of the historical societies seem to have taken financial hits, so every donation is greatly appreciated. She says, hope this helps. Tracy, thank you for all of your help. I know my family's been grateful, has shared a lot of our family heritage with you. If you have some old history stuff, get with Tracy, old pictures. She might be able to find the answers, even if you don't know what's going on with that. I highly recommend taking some of her classes. I've tried to do genealogical stuff on my own, and when you don't know what you're doing, you're really just chasing your tail. So Tracy, thank you for all you're doing, and I hope you like it.